react. And one of the things we've talked about in previous sessions is that when fear hits us, right? When fear hits us, it tends to down-regulate the brain. I've always said when fear enters, logic leaves, right? So it tends to kind of down-regulate the brain. It shifts us out of that thinking part of the mind and creates what I refer to as kind of cognitive stress. So we kind of move from the front, prefrontal cortex, boom, right to kind of the reptilian brain whenever fear and anxiety kind of comes into it. It puts us into really kind of tunnel vision. And what's actually happening is the midbrain is hijacking the intelligence of our neocortex, the thinking part of the brain. And in that hijacking, there are a couple of things that occur. And one is that we move to fight or flight response, preparing us to kind of get the heck out of there or get ready to do a battle. And oftentimes it's unnecessary. It's why, we see road rage and we see people just kind of expressing this off the charts kind of behavior that they would never normally do if they were thinking, if they were really responding rather than reacting. Remember, in the 7 levels of awareness, we say, the lowest level of awareness is animal. This is where you react. The highest level of awareness is mastery, where you respond. And the difference between the two is thinking. So if there is a severe sense of fear, the downregulation of the brain can lead to what we would call a freeze response, where the body will just stiffen and shut down. Kind of, we call it kind of the deer in the headlights. It's kind of like the cliche that we use. In either case, that downregulating can be addressed. It can be controlled. If the fear that's showing up for a person is a result of a previous trauma that may have occurred in our life, then every time that person's thinks about that thing, that time that they were traumatized about, the fear response that's created within them, shoots the body just full of hormones, what we call the CANE, C-A-N-E group. So it's cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, and every time the person plays that fear response in their mind that occurred during the original trauma, that's what begins to happen in the body. The body literally begins to break down. We know cortisol, as an example, is what leads to big belly fat, right? It causes organ fat. It's a killer. And so as a result of this, we have these unrelating stress hormones. Then people are more susceptible to things like diabetes, autoimmune diseases, and we see all kinds of syndromes that are very real. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, setting in as a result of this chronic and unrelenting stress or anxiety response that a person is having. And it's really good for you to have an intervention that you can do literally instantaneously, a way to just kind of interrupt that pattern.